This is ECDP Television. You are on the edge with Seema Anand. Welcome to ECDP Television. You are watching The Edge with Seema Anand. The Edge has been sponsored by the Essex Cultural Diversity Project, and it's a program where we look at all the new and exciting things that are happening in the arts and all the amazing artists and people who are making it happen. And our amazing artist today, my guest on the show today, is Dilek Latif. Dilek is not just the audience development person and the artist development person for Mercury Theatre in Colchester, which is exciting enough as it is, but she is also now known as the Changemaker. And that's what makes it extremely exciting, because that's like something out of a Marvel hero comic book for me. And so, Dilek, welcome.
Hello. Very kind words. Thank you.
So tell me, the Changemaker, like I said, it makes me think of Wonder Woman or Iron Man or, the Changemaker. Tell me what brings that about.
So the title of Changemaker is part of an audience development initiative that the Mercury Theatre are part of. It's called the Adeste Plus project. And we are one of the 11 artistic institutions across Europe. So we're the one in the UK that's representing. And within that, and together throughout the last couple of years and this next year, we go through our audience development initiatives and feedback and share informations in order to provide a blueprint for future audience development plans. And thoughts and ideas. And within that initiative, each artistic partner in the building has what they call a change maker, who keeps on top of the initiative, the project, and really is kind of, I suppose, like the driving force, the one that gets everyone going and keeps the project on track, I suppose. But so it's less marvelly, more marvellous, maybe.
But definitely marvelous, because I think it's fantastic that, the idea of audience development has been taken to such an amazing level that people realize that it's not just a case of saying, well, if I want the Asian audiences, I'll put on an Asian play. They're understanding that this is a far deeper idea. Audience development is not just important, it's how you approach it.
Yes, definitely. I think it's really interesting to have seen over my time at the Mercury about how important it is to provide sustained contact within communities in your area, and in order doing that actually provides your results in having people come into the building and seeing what people want. I think it's all about listening. If you listen, then you can if there's one thing you can do, it's listen, and then you will get people in the building and you will be able to see how you grow together. I think it's really important to know, like, the building is not ours, it's everyone's in the community. So it's really about feet on the ground, listening, and that sustained listening, and being prepared to put in the hours, I think. But it's not really a duty. It's part of, to bring a vibrant, inclusive, accessible theatre. It's what we love doing.
And I just think it's so important because we know from times gone past, let's say I come originally from India, and I know that in times gone past, at festivals and so on, you'd have this tree, and underneath the tree, the storyteller would sit, and the entire community would gather around the storyteller. They would come together, and that was where you came together. That's what drew you together as a community.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that Mercury Theatre plays a very similar part it's a role that you play in the community. And so understanding them is really important. So what have you been doing? I know you've been doing some really exciting stuff towards audience development.
So we did. I mean, it would be remiss for us to not connect. Our theatre name is named after the god of the messenger. So that is our whole purpose, is to create connections. And it's as simple as, you know, going out into the community and speaking. So I think I've joined a couple of groups, a couple of coffee mornings, which has been really cool. And I've spent some time with a specific group in the community who call themselves the ethnically diverse seniors. And I'd go in and have a cup of tea once a week. And it's all about sharing each other's stories, and also, you know, letting people know what you're up to, what's going on, what could be interesting, and seeing, you know, what are the obstacles. For example, if you wanted to book, how can I alleviate that? Were there spaces you wanted to hire? Things like that. And having this constant, consistent contact with someone from the building across to the community was really rewarding. And then we carried the project forward to having, I had this 10-month project where I asked various people of Colchester about their journeys, just their life journeys really. How did they come to Colchester? Have they been born and bred here? I find stories and journeys really interesting. And we had our ethnically diverse senior group take part. And the culmination of that was an evening whereby a local playwright turned those stories into a mini play. And we had the community come in and see it. And that was the first time that they'd come into the theatre. So that was amazing. But it's understanding it takes time. And it takes building of trust, and really just, it is all having fun. It shouldn't be theory based, you know what I mean? It's seeing what people want, seeing how you can tweak programs, and share, like you say, it's back down to sharing each other's stories. We've all got that common ground, I think, and that's the human desire to connect, I think. So what better way than going out and having a cup of tea every week and saying how your week's gone and what's coming up.
And your cup of tea with them has had it's had a little bit, well, you've been a bit of a Marvel heroine over there, haven't you? You've had a little bit of a danger walk during
They're
this.
very fun. They're very funny, bless them. They let me call them aunties. And they always try and everyone shares their food, which is beautiful. So we'll be there for an hour and a half, and everyone gets their packets of food that they've bought from home that they've made, and I will typically buy biscuits. And then they can tell me off a little bit because I haven't baked. But yeah, it's such a good connection through the sharing of each other's food. I love it. It's so cool.
Yes, I think that there's something very, very personal about sharing your food with somebody else. And so, what have you found? What is the demographic of this particular community, let's say? Is it sort of from across the board? Is it primarily Asian?
So I would say it's primarily Asian. However, with different religions mixed in, which is really interesting because actually, you know, I sat through various weeks where there were interesting talks about if someone was observing Ramadan across, someone who was Hindu, and just this understanding, a talk about understanding, and some interesting debates as well, which I found. And also what a really interesting debate was the generational debate. And I think because I was like the second generation in that room, it was really interesting to share how I saw it compared to how they saw it. There's two different journeys here. And quite a lot of the time, when you talk about intergeneration, you're in a bit of conflict because it's your parents. However, to have that space there is no conflict there really, but to have said, this is how I felt growing up, and them saying, you know, we wanted you to maintain your identity and we were sad that you were, perhaps lost your mother tongue. And they were really, really good, honest, debates and talking about the arts and how that gets appreciated, and how understanding when you're programming arts, you're programming from your point of view, and only when you mix with the communities, only when you listen, does your programming knowledge range broaden, and also your artistic talent development initiatives broaden. It's common for us to say write a monologue, but actually certain communities would rather express it through song. So it's really, it's all about talking and having that, encouraging that debate, I think.
I think that's so amazing. And also, you said something to me the other day which really resonated, really stayed with me, that, it's not about saying, okay, if you come from this part of the world, we will put on a play based on that part of the world. It's about getting people to come in and sort of listen to things and be part of things that are beyond just that, but mean something to them as well.
Definitely. I think we need to get past the only notion that I will only contact the Asian community if there's an Asian play on. I think the notion should be that you want the community around you to absorb the building as their own. So you want to see the same mix in Panto, you want to see the same mix in your summer shows, and all year round, really, so that when you do put on an Asian play, that is a celebration and not a tokenistic putting on of shows, if that makes sense. And because people have come to the building regularly, that really hones in exactly what you're putting on, I think. It's the building's open for all 24, so around the year, basically. It's not just for when I've got your specific play on. And why would you go and see? Why would you engage with a building who only comes to you when there's a token play on? Do you know what I mean? And you might have even got that wrong. You might have even put the wrong play. You might have misunderstood that. And I think also, it's reflective in our casting. On the main stage, on our panto, we want to be as diverse, as we are, and as accessible, so that you want, for instance, a young Asian child to come into a watch panto and see the reflection of themselves on that stage. You want to inspire, and go, this is my theatre, this is the arts are for me as well.
I think that is just the absolute perfect thing. I mean, that's the perfect way forward. I mean, that's what one hopes to see across the board, doesn't one? And is that the same sort of approach that you have towards artist development? What is the difference when you actually do that? Because you're also looking after artist development, and I know that there's a lot of people out there who would like to be part of the arts. They'd like to be part of the theatre, and could be really useful for them to know what you're looking at and how you approach that.
So we look after, in the theatre, we look after engagement opportunities as well as artistic opportunities. So we have just put out our creative engagement series of events in June and July. They're all online, and you will see activities there for people to come and engage. For example, acting 101 classes, sing-alongers, our community choir. And if you feel like you've never done it before, you want to experience it, you want to have a taste, then we've got all those exciting offerings for you to come and join at. If you feel, for instance, actually, I want to develop my work, I want to look at myself as an artist, or you can do both, to be honest, then we have got artistic development opportunities, such as programs for 9 monthly programs for playwrights to develop their work, for directors to develop their work, and for producers at the moment. And they will meet once a month with a mentor, and they will go over, for example, if you're a playwright, your mission in the 9 months is to get 2 drafts of your own play ready, get through 2 drafts. And the same with directing would be that, you know, you get to be ready to direct and really hone your skills. So there are artistic strands, but I suppose the biggest thing with our artist development that we're really, really keen to show is our transparent ladder of progression. So we want to show that you can join us at 3 or 4 and go all the way up. Go through our drama groups, our Mercury Young Company, go through our 18 to 25, go on our artistic development programs, become an associate artist, get a play on in the studio, go and tour, come back, be on the main house. That's like our ladder of progression artistically. So we are open and always have got various initiatives for you to come in and hone your craft. We're also open to having meetings as well. So I will do the coffee, tea catch-ups on a Friday morning. When I'm in the building, we'll get that all sorted. So it's really having a look, seeing if there's anything you like, if there's anything you don't understand, mailing us, and we can have a catch up and see where you want to go, what you want to do. But there's so much on offer. It's really exciting at the moment when we open up. From the very beginning of, I've never done improvisation before, taking classes, to the very, the playwrights group, or having your play on, or having something programmed at the studio. So we want to help you develop, but it's also about connecting and having fun as well.
My God, it all sounds so exciting. I wish I lived a little bit closer. I would have come and joined. I want to be part of everything. So how much of... Sorry, go on.
So, no, I was saying what we've learned over the year is that our master classes that we will have once a month, and our talent development evenings, such as our Mercury reads, where we have a brand new play read once a quarter. They will be online as well, so we are quite accessible. So if you can't make the theatre, you will be able to purchase an online tickets to join us. So that's what we've learned over the pandemic.
Sounds good. So you've actually, I guess we've all learned how to access larger communities, and in a way, that's pretty amazing that you can actually, because I was going to say, what is the reach? What is the access for Mercury Theatre? I mean, how many little towns or cities do you manage to get to? But now you've just answered that, because you're online and it's sort of countrywide now if necessary.
Definitely. I mean, over the year, we had people accessing us from various countries in the world. We became, like, our panto was accessed from Australia through to Chicago, and our digital opportunities were accessed via UK. So we don't want to lose that accessible platform, as well as building the community around us to come into the building as well.
That is really, really amazing. I guess there are some good things that have come out of this awful time. Or rather, it's about making good things come out of this awful time.
Yeah, I think so. Definitely. I think so.
So a lot of what you said sort of resonates very deeply with the ethos of the ECDP, with the Essex Cultural Diversity Project, this whole idea of connecting with communities, bringing in the arts and so on. And I know that Mercury Theatre itself has a long-standing history, but you're doing something really exciting with ECDP right now.
Yes. So we've come together to create a co-commission with regards to a local story in Essex. I'm actually going to leave it there a little bit, but just because I'm just waiting for it to be confirmed with the writer before I state exactly what it is. But it is a local writer in Essex. And it is regarding a story in Essex that happened a couple of years ago. And it was really important for us to have this story heard. Essex is such a hotbed of diversity, and I feel as ECDP and as Mercury, it's our job to shine a light on these stories. to people who are probably seen in society as underserved, within the arts especially. And these stories are just really important to share, and for us to understand and connect with each other and actually see beyond the tabloids, if that makes sense. And we're all human at the end of the day. So we've been working with ECDP, and we've come together on a joint co-commission. We've started that process, so the writer is just about to confirm, and they will start a 20-page micro commission, and then we will look into it, and hopefully that develops into a full-blown commission of a play. And hopefully that, we're really, really hopeful that we come together, and we see where this play goes. Hopefully we can tour it. It's a beautiful concept, and really, really glad with who we've picked to portray it for us.
So I know that, as I was saying, that ECDP and the Mercury Theatre have had a really long-standing tradition of working together. There have been other things that you've all done together as well in the past, haven't you?
So
which has been
sorry.
really good. I was going to say, because I've attended a couple of things that you people have done together, and I think it's been really useful.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's really interesting because I think Indy is a Dartford man, I think, and I was sick up, so it was a really good connection when we first spoke in it a couple of years back. But we come from similar understandings and similar wants. So we've hosted Stand Up for Diversity, the yearly events, and we're going to this year's one actually. And I think what they do is really, really good, and they go beyond as well. So they go to beyond with regards to different artists that they use, and it's really important that we keep in touch and start forming more and more, because our connections were really good anyway, and then we had pandemic. And this commission is us going back and going, right, let's start working again. It's really exciting. We've got the same visions, we've got the same values about community stories, and upskilling our local artists, really, and providing platforms for them to shine and say, this is our work, and us going, what can we do, and sharing our knowledge and resources together.
I think that's just so amazing. Every time I speak to one of the artists on the Edge, and they tell me about the work that they've done with ECDP, and I just get really excited because I realize that we're very lucky to have an organization like this sort of somewhere in the background, just being supportive, being there, and I think it's so important. It has always been, but particularly now as we come out of the pandemic, to have organizations like yours, like ECDP, just being there as a little platform of support for a lot of people who just haven't known where to turn.
Yeah, definitely. I think I read somewhere about the first people to leave the sector post-pandemic or during pandemic was ethnically diverse artists. So we've got so we've got a duty to make sure we don't lose a generation, and we've got a duty to make sure we pass our hand down and help people up, and seeing what resources, what can we do to help. And also it's the sharing art, like everyone, it's just beautiful. The artists that ECDP cultivates, they're amazing. Why would you not want to hear from them? And it makes our society more, more richer for it. So yeah, I think it's really important as we're coming out and going into a new normal, that we remember how, we don't forget how hard it has been, and implement a solid grounding for future.
Amazing, yeah. So I know that you've talked about this one thing that is coming up in collaboration between Mercury and ECDP, but looking into a little bit further into the future, if you have like one thing on your wish list and you think, well, I wish this could happen because it would be amazing for the arts and for the communities, and we could do it together. What would that be if you could find something in collaboration to do?
Oh, wow. I think it's, I think it's about the number of artists that we serve. I think it's going, you know, at the end of the year, if we turn around and we've gone together, we have helped this many artists. I think that's it. And it's really, I know I keep harking back, but it's the sustainability of it. If we remain sustainable to be able to offer, and if we work together, it's working together and being sustainable, that creates a legacy, rather than I'd love this event to happen, if that makes sense. I think for me, it's more of a legacy. I'd love to see people have started and we've helped, and it, helped with regards to resources, and you know, to elevate them stratospherically, you know, a couple of years later, or whatever. That's the beauty of it. I think that's maintaining that legacy of being the port in the East that helps artists out.
I think actually I love that idea. I love the fact that yeah, it's about sustainability and a legacy to sort of carry it forward, because the new normal and the pandemic as it is, it's not going away in a hurry. Things are going to take time and people need the help in the meantime. So I guess that's what we're really looking at.
Definitely.
One last bit of a message from you to potential artists and audiences on behalf of Mercury Theatre.
We are opening towards the end of June. Keep a lookout. We've just announced, I think the last weekend in June, that we are open. Keep a lookout. Very soon we will announce our new season. So if you'd like to get in touch with artistic development or any of our program opportunities, email me at Dilek, Dilek.Latif, Latif, at mercurytheatre.co.uk, and I'll email you back. I look forward to hearing from you, and come and give the new building a look. It's amazing.
Yeah, and I think just the joy of coming back into a theatre and just enjoying it after so long. I do hope that everybody comes in.
Yeah,
and
come in, enjoy it. We've got a new cafe bar. It's because we've also had a huge capital project, so you won't really recognize it. It's so gorgeous, and you know, we've got to keep our heartbeat going, we've got to put the heart of the community in. So we can't wait for you to join us. We are so excited.
Oh, thank you, Dilek. I'm looking forward to coming to visit Mercury Theatre once everything opens up.
Yeah.
I hope it will be very soon. I hope it'll be really exciting and very successful.
Awesome.
Dilek, thank you so much for speaking to me today and speaking to our audiences. And I hope that this is going to be really, really useful for everybody.
No worries. Thank you for having me. It's been brilliant.
So I hope that you've enjoyed that conversation, and I hope that you're going to find it really useful, both in terms of artist development as well as audience development, because I know that it's easy to think that if you put something on and people just come in and watch it, for a lot of communities, even that first step of booking a play or booking to go into a building that is called a theatre is so nerve-wracking, it's so intimidating. And I think that what the work that Dilek and her team are doing is absolutely incredible. So I do hope that literally it will open some doors for you. If you've enjoyed the program, do like, comment, subscribe, and the email for Dilek, it's dilek.latif at mercurytheatre.co.uk, as she said, but you'll find it in the description. And if you need to get in touch with ECDP about whether it's about your work as an artist or just about accessing the arts, they are on EssexCDP.com, and they're always there to help. In the meantime, take care of yourselves, and we will see you very soon. This is ECDP Television. You are on the edge with Seema Anand.